Welcome to the Warband, a World of Warcraft podcast. My name is Swaglock. With me today, my best friend, my favorite gnome on Azeroth that is not plagued, to be clear, Chicken. Dude, Chicken, how are you doing?
Wait, that is not what? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Like plague. You have like the plague gnomes, like the leper gnome type thing?
Huh? I've never heard of that. What are you talking about?
Dude, it might be time for another episode of the Warband. Talking about
no.
Gnomeregan, dude. The fall of Gnomeregan.
No. No, I'm not ready.
Not ready. But yeah, so a little bit of lore. We'll start off this episode with a quick little lore dump, and then we'll get right into the real content. I was just making a meme. I didn't realize. All right. So
dude, I had no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, for those who are, maybe this is your first episode listening to the Warband, we primarily don't talk about lore. That's not normally our thing. But Chicken is one of the few players in WoW who hasn't been here from the start or an early expansion. He joined in Shadowlands and is here for the sick, epic gameplay of WoW, and so often misses some of the lore beats. And so, Chicken, to kind of fill you in, right, the story of the gnomes, right? If you were to create a gnome character right now and not do like the starting tutorial island, you'll see a place called Gnomeregan.
Yeah, I know what that is.
You've seen Mechagon, right? So Mechagon is this like giant.
I definitely know what Mechagon is.
Yeah,
I know what Gnomeregan is.
Gnomeregan's like the same thing, right? So it was an underground gnome civilization, super mechanical, very, very, very similar to Mechagon in many ways. However, in Gnomeregan, there was some political turmoil going on. And you had King Mechatork, right? Him doing his thing. But then there was another gnome. Again, the gnome lore is not lore I stay up to date on. So I'm going to give you like the super, super heavy cliff notes of it. But basically, this other gnome ended up kind of tricking the gnomes into using this like plague gas leprosy type stuff on the city of Gnomeregan because you had these trogs breaking in. Like these trogs are like proto-dwarven creations. They're really weird, kind of gross looking dudes. But the gnomes had dug a little too deep and broke into like trog territory. So the trogs are like flooding into Gnomeregan. They're trying to get rid of them, and they like shoot this like radioactive like gas into Gnomeregan to try and destroy these trogs. The idea, what they thought would happen was that the gas would just dissipate and the gnomes could move back in. However, the gnome who was mastermind behind the whole thing, he knew that wasn't the case. He was kind of crazy. And so now, if you go to Gnomeregan, right, like I think the top level of Gnomeregan's safe now. It was like reclaimed back in like Cataclysm or something. Crazy. But if you go like deeper into Gnomeregan, it's still like all like you'll see green gnomes running around. If you ever see like a green gnome, they're called leper gnomes. So that's the
I've never heard that before.
That's the context.
Interesting.
So now you have it.
Well, that's our daily or our weekly. No, we'll never do that. Never weekly lore.
Segment. No, never weekly lore. No. But Chicken, you know what is going on this week?
What's going on?
Dude, we got a bunch going on. I've been up to a bunch of things. First thing I did this week was mention to you that you should probably turn your mic volume up a little bit if you can. The second thing going on this week that I've been up to, dude, a lot of Decor Duel. My wife and I are playing a lot of Decor Duel to try and get the different housing items. She loves housing.
Okay, I'll let you finish that. But then I got a big question.
yeah, dude, she loves housing. So we were playing a bunch of Decor Duel. It's got some flaws, so we'll do that. I haven't been running keys. I've been on pause for like my big Keystone Legend push that I was gonna do. I don't think Keystone Legend is gonna be too terribly hard. It's 12s, 13s.
You already got it, to be honest.
No, it was 12s, 13s. It's pretty easy. I've just been sidetracked in some other projects. This has been like a busy week outside of WoW. So most of my WoW play this week has been like I've played plenty, but it's not like, oh, I can sit down for 2 hours and go slam keys. It's been like a little spurt here, some stuff, a little spurt there. So I've been like mostly like casualing it this week, which dude, it's fun. It's a change of pace, but it's really nice to kind of be able to jump in. And I like that I can jump in and be like, oh, I'm gonna play a little Decor Duel with my wife, and that was fun. So I really enjoyed that this week.
Yeah, that seems kind of fun. But you said something, and I was like, how do I even do that? How do I get the decor from Decor Duels?
Oh, the decor, right? So have you played Decor Duel yet?
Yeah, I've played it a couple times.
Okay, and you got like the token things afterwards, right? The dispelled coins or undispelled coins, whatever they're called.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just
Okay.
I have game pulled up. Let me just make sure.
So you know where and this actually caught me off guard. I had to look it up at the time. So you know where you queue for Decor Duel? There's like a person next to him that's like selling stuff for those coins.
Yeah.
Right, but none of it's decor, right? It's just like all like other stuff, mounts and
Yeah, it's just all
like
stuff that has to do with Decor Duels.
Yes. So are you at the Decor Duel spot right now at this very moment?
No, I'm not.
All right. If you were and I imagine if you're stuck, other listeners were probably a little stuck on this as well. But if you were to look to the right of that NPC, you would actually see that there's a chair sitting there. The chair is another disguised NPC, and that's the one who sells the decor.
Oh, really? Yep. Oh, man.
Yeah. Also, the microphone problem on your end was my end. Sorry about that. I had you a little quieter. We'll fix that in post.
Lol.
My apologies. Whoopsie doopsie. Sorry for people listening.
Lol.
All right, but anyways.
Early morning podcast.
That's what happens. No, my audio has a setting for when I'm like streaming or just gaming or doing normal stuff. I don't know why I call it my stream setting. It's just like my normal setting. And then I have like one that I switch to for when I'm doing like guitar stuff. If I'm plugging my guitar into my computer and want to play, it's like a different setting. And so it like I had it left from last night. I was practicing some stuff and I was like, huh, why should so? And I look over, it's like, oh no, that's why. Might be. So apologies.
That's okay. Perfect.
So, Chicken Dude, that's kind of what I've been up to this week. Decor Duel. I did raid with our guild. It's always kind of like a how do I, sometimes you'll hear me pause on the podcast is because there's something I think is worth saying because it's relatable, but also you want to be careful in how you say it because if
don't
you're
want to trigger,
not trigger, but if you're I think
canceled.
No, I want to be respectful to everybody involved because we have an amazing raid team, and everybody works so hard on a raid team. What's difficult though is WoW players cover like a full spectrum of skill levels, right? And time. Sometimes it's just a time of like I only have so much time to actually get gear and prepare for raid, right? And so I want to be respectful because, man, everyone on our raid team is wonderful. I freaking love them all. It's so fun. Like, raid to me isn't just like, oh, hey, I'm here for the loot. Raid to me is also more so, I would say, even more so, just the social time, right? It's like, oh, dude, me and my 20 friends are getting together and, like, we're killing bosses, but we're yapping. We're laughing the whole time. It's a good time. But the hard thing is this was the first week we had to finally cut down our raid team since we started this season. Every season we cut down. This is probably the furthest we've gone without doing a cut down. And so I'm like really proud of our team for doing that. Cut downs are always hard. We know it's going to happen. So let me explain for people who are listening like, oh, why would you cut down your raid team? What's going on? Why is that happening? Right? I can explain. So we raid heroic. Our goal is to get AOTC, right? So we do normal and then we do heroic. And so for normal, like so long as you meet the eye level requirement, everybody who wants to be there can be there. Right now, you can't have 7 tanks, right? Like so, obviously, just stick to like certain percentages, right? 2 tanks and DPS, and then a certain number of healers for however many people we have. But we try to take everybody. Like the goal is to take everybody through normal at least, and then usually the switch from normal to heroic, we then cut down a little bit, right? And this time we didn't. I think we just it was kind of like unintentional slide into heroic, and we were doing fine. So we were kind of like, we just kept delaying it. We're like, whatever. But we finally kind of hit a wall where it's hard because heroic is scaling, right? And so in any other form of content, having more players is always a good thing, right? It'd be like, oh, more is more damage, right? Like if you're doing a world boss, more people fighting the world boss is always going to be a good thing. But in this case, it's tough because every time you add another player, it adds more health to the boss, right? It adds potentially more mechanics that could happen. And we're okay if there's more mechanics, but that more health becomes a serious question. And we had hit a wall where we just couldn't progress because the damage we were doing. It was just damage, right? Our damage wasn't enough to phase on Illyria. And so we finally had to make the call of like, hey, look, it's time to cut down, because if you're adding more players, but those more players aren't doing more damage than the health that's being added to the boss, right? It actually makes the fight a lot harder. And if you live in that world too long, people grow bitter, right? That's where tensions start to rise, because then people look at the logs and go, hey, we wiped on this boss 100 times.
100 times.
Right? Yeah, we've wiped 100 times, but and let me be clear, we're not wiping 100 times on a heroic boss, okay? But hyperbolic, right? Because some people will take me very serious on that. Let's say you wipe 100 times, right? And people look at the logs and they're like, oh, the only reason why we're wiping is because these 4 players here aren't doing as much damage. That that's not fair to those players, right? Because they're working hard, they're putting time in, they really are making a great effort, right? Like, they're wonderful. Like, they're wonderful. But content scales, right? Like, in the same reason I'm not getting cutting edge, right? I'm not a cutting edge skill player, right? Like, content scales. Everybody kind of has a cap somewhere. Some people be like, well, I have no problem in cutting edge, sure, but you're not running plus 45s and keys, right? Like, everybody caps out somewhere, right? There's somewhere in some content somewhere. So there's no judgment on that. What I was, though, and the reason why I bring this up, though, what I was really happy with this time is we kind of did something different than we've done before. And we basically said, hey, look, this is the boss we're stuck at. But everybody has proven that they can clear up to this boss. So we're going to cut down, but only at this boss. So if you've been a part of the raid team up to this boss, you're still invited to all the bosses with us prior to this. And I just thought that was a really nice touch. That was a really nice move to be like,
nice.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, dude, you guys proved your mettle. You worked hard. You were in this fight. And I was really proud of that. The other thing that happened at Raid this week that I wanted to mention on the podcast is you don't always think about, like, when you're in WoW, like, you just get used to everything, right? So we're on Illyria, and my wife comes over and she's watching over my shoulder. She usually doesn't watch when I'm raiding, but I think now that she's getting more into WoW, she's always curious about things, and it starts to make a little bit of sense, right? Like, now that she understands how WoW works, she feels like she can, like, kind of keep track a bit. So she comes over. She's standing over my shoulder. At first, I think something's, like, wrong. I'm pulling one of my headphones off. I'm like, hey, everything okay? Like, you all right? Do you need anything? And she's like, no, I'm just watching. You can ignore me. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And afterwards, we take our break. So we have, like, our 7-minute break. And she's just like, I don't know how you do that. None of that made sense. There was purple stuff everywhere. Everything was purple. Where are you supposed to stand? Like, she starts asking me a bunch of questions. She's like, and I saw, like, sometimes you were standing in stuff that looked like you weren't standing in it, supposed to be in it, but you weren't dying. And I saw other people stand things, and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of things. You kind of learn what you are and aren't supposed to stand in piece by piece. And I was like, but also, as a Death Knight, I'm just using AMS half the time, so I can keep doing damage and ignore mechanics. Right? Like, I'm just like, I'll stand in this, I'll throw a bubble up, and it won't hurt me, and I can do a little more damage. But I was like, you kind of learn all those little tricks, and, you know, as a hunter, like, when's the right time to turtle, right? And all of that. But it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun for me having her stand there and ask questions. Like, the fact that she was, like, genuinely, like, interested in paying attention and trying to track everything that's happening. But also, you know, like, we've done, like, +2s and +2. I think +2 is the highest we've done. Maybe last season we did a +4. Maybe. I think so. And so for her, +2s are this, like, oh, those are already really difficult. And so it was cool for her to see something that was, like, at an even higher level than that, right? Like, that was, like, even harder than that. So I thought that was really fun. I don't know. That was a nice little highlight for the night for me. I don't think to her it was probably that big of a deal, but for me, I don't know, dude, right? Like, having your wife ask you questions about WoW and, like, genuinely, like, paying attention is pretty cool, right? I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife doesn't really ask me stuff about WoW, unless it's about player housing, but she hasn't really done too much of that recently just because our schedules just have been so busy. We just haven't had time. So maybe one day. But yeah, no, it sounds like you had a pretty enjoyable week. The raid sounds good. How far? So, like, I don't understand really how the raids intertwine and how they work with each other. So what raid are you on and what boss is that? Like, does that make sense?
No, it totally makes sense. So
you're not even going to be able to say, like, oh, I'm on this raid. You're going to have to tell me like you're on the first raid or the second raid. Dude, I literally know nothing about the raids.
Oh, that's right. That's because you didn't come to Academy Night last week.
I know. I said I would, and then I fell asleep.
People were asking too. People were like, "Hey, when's Chicken getting here? What time's Chicken showing up?" And I was
sorry,
like,
I fell asleep.
Liar. He's a liar. No, so you have the 3 raids this week. You have Dream Rift, which is the 1 boss raid, Void Spire, which is the 6 boss raid, and then you have March on Quel'Danas, which is the 2 boss raid. The 1 boss raid kind of sits in this like weird nebulous because I think it's a relatively easy fight, but there's like some complexity to it. So it's not necessarily the first boss of the raiding, but it's kind of in there somewhere in the early bosses, right? But we're on Void Spire, which is I believe it's Void Spire. I always get the names wrong, so I apologize. But Void Spire, and so we're on the last boss of Void Spire. So the 6th boss raid, we're on the last boss of that, Illyria. And it's supposed to be like a penultimate type boss type thing. So like third to last, second to last boss. I would say probably second to last is what it's supposed to be in difficulty wise, right? So think like back.
Like wraps up that raid, so it should be like a little more difficult.
Yeah. To put in perspective, it is a 3-phase boss with 2 intermissions, and the actual like area that you're fighting, the ground like changes and warps and stuff. So like the amount of work they put into it is definitely like a final boss type of level of detail into the work.
It kind of reminds me of like Taylor Swift.
T-Swift. Yeah, it's a T-Swift type of thing. Even like at times it reminds me more of even like a final boss platform, like a jail or something. It's hard to explain, right? There's moments where you have to like jump over cracks that form in the ground and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. It's a really cool fight. But that's where we're at the moment, and so we got it. We got down to 5%. I think it was like 5.8%.
Dang.
This week. So I imagine this upcoming week we'll kill this boss and move on to March of Quel'Danas. I think we're just gonna lock out the fight and just do it. And that's the hard thing too. Is like there's part of me is like, oh, why are we locking out? Like that's a lot of gear we're missing out that we could farm. But at the same time, dude, like. And I think we've talked about recently, man. Heroic raid gear is such a joke.
Yeah, I know, right? Do you actually need?
Yeah, I mean, if you
actually need heroic gear,
dude, I don't need anything, right? Like, but I feel bad now. I'm sure there are people in our group who could absolutely use something.
Oh yeah, like me.
Yeah,
but I'm not in your group.
No. But I feel bad because it's like, oh, you want heroic gear, and I don't know, go spam keys for a day, and then you're done, right? Like,
right.
It's we had put, I think on the thumbnail for last week's episode, I had put Delves Ruin gear, right? Or why Delves ruin gear or something. Delves are ruining gear, right? Basically, there's and it's something I've pushed on. I'll probably do a YouTube video talking about it in depth. Our podcast listeners will have heard it a billion times, but it's just this idea that right now gear feels like it's in a bad spot, right? I think delves are good content. This isn't a delve conversation because I think delves are genuinely good content. But I really truly believe that gearing is just too easy right now. And maybe that's how Blizzard wants it to be, right? Like I'm listening to like other people talk on it this week after we had talked about it, and they're like, "Oh, this is just what Blizzard wants." Players just want to have BIS within the first 4 weeks of the season and then be done, right? It's like all players want is to get their BIS and move on. And maybe my mindset's different. My mindset is like, I feel like BIS should be a season-long push, right? Like if you want the absolute perfect best of the best of the best gear, that should take you the whole season to like come close to accomplishing that, right? Like I don't even know if anybody.
I mean, for the average player.
Like for the average player, like yeah, right. For just about anybody, BIS should be like a really long achievement. But I think living in a world with M+, BIS kind of feels like this. No, I need BIS so I can compete on fair ground with everybody else, right? And so a lot of players come into WoW and they're like, I need to get BIS in the first month so then I can push M+ how far I want to, and then I can take off for the next 4 months of the season, right? It's like 1 month of like hard BIS push, and then 1 month of like actually pushing content, and then you're done, right? And for me, and maybe it's because you've played WoW for a shorter period of time than I am, so maybe you're, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I've played WoW for a long time, right? And so like, there's a part of me that I look back on like the days of like Classic and Burning Crusade, Wrath, right? Where getting like that perfect set of like gear just right wasn't the expectation. It was like the fantasy, right? It was like I'm perpetually making my character stronger by trying to gear my character up. And maybe I was just slower back then. Maybe I wasn't like as competitive of a player. Maybe that was more normalized back then. I just don't think it was. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like right now you get to level 90 and you just start grinding out hero track gear, right? Like you get to 90. Someone's gonna be upset with me for saying this. You get to 90, you buy the like really cheap level 90 gear off the auction house, right? And then you go start right. But that's what you do, right? You get to 90, buy the cheap 90 gear off the auction house, and then go start running keys. Otherwise, you have to do like heroic dungeons or something, and who wants to do that? Right?
Is that actually what people do? Like, I seriously don't do that.
Yeah. I dropped like, I don't know, like 5,000 gold or something on some like cheap 90 gear, and then I just get right into keys, right? Just right into keys. Maybe do an LFR or two just for like a chance at tier, but
just for funsies.
But even now, right? Like this season, why even do LFR for tier when you're just getting those tokens perpetually in your bag to convert stuff to tier, right? So I don't know.
I haven't done a single LFR.
No. And yeah, so but again, the tier thing's another question, right? Like it's almost like, oh, you need to have full tier by the start of week 2, right? By the start of week 2, you need to have full tier. By week 3, you really should have full heroic gear. By week 4, you should start being like collecting your myth track gear, right? And that just feels, I don't know. It feels like everything under heroic is kind of like this weird bleh. And I think heroic, I don't know. Right now, I want, if I had my way, if things work the way Swag wants, not the way you want, Chicken, not the way the listener wants, if things work the way Swag wants, I would still be pushing heroic gear right now. Like if I had my way, I'd be like, no, Lex, we can't lock out Illyria because there's too much hero gear, and I have like 4 or 5 slots left that I want to try and fill with hero gear. But that's just not the case, right? Like if I'm short on hero gear, I just go find a dungeon that drops the piece I want, and I just spam that on repeat on M+ until it drops. And then I use my bonus rerolls that I have this week, so I get 2 myth pieces of gear. So now I have 3 myth track pieces of gear I got this week. So hero gear is a joke, right? I don't know, dude. It feels like, and if that's the way the game's gonna be, is it the end of the world? No. I think I just need to change my mindset from like, I just think we're shifting away from, hey, the goal is making your character stronger. And it's now shifting to the goal is achievements via like score, right? So it's no longer, hey, how strong can I get my character? And it's more like, hey, how high can I get my IO score? And maybe it's a mind shift. Now that I'm saying it, maybe I just have to change my mindset, right? Maybe I have to view it differently, and I'll just be happy if I like think of it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's my rant. Chicken, as a newer player who didn't live in that world of like perpetual like gear chasing, like for you, does this feel like a healthy system? Is this a system you enjoy? Like where's gear feeling?
Live in that role. Like I think, I think it's like I think back to Dragonflight and even Shadowlands. Like I don't ever remember there being like gear this easily.
That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, gearing now is definitely in like such a weird spot, right?
Yeah. What is it that drops hero from the dungeon? Is it like 5s?
From dungeons?
Yeah, like M+. Ooh. Is it like +5s drop hero? Not vault. I'm not talking vault. I'm talking about like just dropping. I think it's like +5.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it was. You mean in the vault or just drops?
Just drops. Just drops from the chest at the end.
I think it is like 2 Or no, it's 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 because 2 is Vault Hero, right? 2 is Vault Hero.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 Right. So it again, right? Like every time I get a piece of hero gear, it's like, oh, good, finally, right? Finally, that piece is filled. It's not like, oh, this is awesome, like this is a great piece of gear. It's like, oh, finally, I got this. I'll replace it later, but at least it's something, right? And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just how it should be. The whole like hero myth, like right, that system really started in Dragonflight, so it's kind of a newer system in the grand scheme of WoW. But also they've had years now to mess with it. I don't know. And maybe it's because I look at gameplay wrong, right? Like, and maybe we need some people to comment because I'm over here going again to what I said to you, right? Oh, I get a character to 90. I buy some quick gear off the auction house. And when I say quick gear off the auction house, I'm not talking about people's like 50,000 gold raid BOEs that they're getting. I'm just talking about like the really cheap crafted stuff that's like, here's 200 gold for a shoulder and 300 gold for gloves, right? Like I just do the quick, like buy whatever's cheapest, throw some gear on my character and then just go right into M+. But I don't even know like what percentage of the player base is also doing that, right? Maybe my view is skewed because I'm playing in a way that maybe most players aren't, or maybe most players are, right? I just don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because it's not that I think gear is like, I don't want to phrase this. I was thinking about this morning. Yeah. It's not that I don't think, because, you know, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, but like, I feel like gear, like hero gear is even easier to get now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 12.0.5. And I was kind of thinking like, I was like, okay, how do I make this make sense where I don't seem like a jerk for like wanting more, like for wanting hero gear, but not wanting it in the way that we are getting it.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to come across like I'm disrespectful. Like I'm not thankful. Like, do I like having gear? Absolutely, right? Like I like having the gear. But I also realize that like a lot of the fun for me is the chase, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm weird because also chasing Biss just isn't like my thing, right? Like I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit there and spam the same thing over and over and over and over and over again to chase like a Biss trinket, right? And then get upset every time that Biss trinket doesn't drop, right? You know, and then get angry at the vault because I'm not getting my Biss trinket in the vault, right? So maybe that's part of it. Maybe I need to switch my mindset and be like, nope. This chasing is what's the real cool thing, not just like eye level, right?
Yeah, because it's hard, and I always go back to like this because it's funny, right? Where when we used to have like the long track of where Legacy, you know, Mythic 20 is now like what current Mythic 10 is. And I used to always joke of like, oh yeah, like I feel like this fixes it, but like I feel like one day we're basically just gonna go back to where like they're making us now push 20s again for like, you know, and we haven't gotten there yet, but like I kind of see it where like even early keys, like other than like unless you like playing with like someone new or something, like I don't think I've done a 2 at all this season.
Yeah,
I think I've done a couple 4s just to try to stay with like the dungeon route finder tool. Yeah. And then other than that, like I've only done like 6s and above, right? So I think it's just kind of crazy that we're going back to this area of like low keys don't matter still because you can, and it's not because they're easy. Well, respectively, they're easy, but it's because we just have the gear that makes them easy to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, you're out gearing them super fast. And to be fair, by the way, because we had gone to a system where low keys were harder, right? I think we saw it going into the War Within. And I do agree that we need a better stepping stone from heroic dungeons into mythic dungeons into mythic plus dungeons. So I'm not saying we make those lower keys harder, because even though I don't think a lot of players will be doing them, I think it's really a really safe stepping stone that you don't feel overwhelmed doing them when you're learning.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, to bounce off that, I think they have done a good job at making a good stepping stone from like heroic into mythic and then into mythic plus. But still, like the fact that you can do, and this is kind of what bothers me a little bit. Like I don't know if you've done tier 11 delves. I'm assuming you have at this point. When you do,
no.
You've never done a tier 11 delve?
I just haven't really had, I don't know, I didn't have any incentive to do one.
Oh. Well, I think after you do at least, it might be just one or two. I can't remember how many it is. But once you do like so many tier 11 delves, it might only be one.
Yeah.
You get a quest that's like the crack keystone. I don't know if you've seen that quest, but it incentivizes you to, hey, why don't you go try Mythic Plus, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that easily from a tier 11 delves, it's telling you automatically to just start Mythic Plus. Don't do heroic, Mythic, jump right into Mythic Plus, is the fact, it like just kind of confirms it. Like, oh, I mean, if you're doing tier 11 delves, you probably have outgeared a heroic and probably a Mythic dungeon at this point. And it gives good loot. I mean, it gives you myth crests.
Yep.
So it's not like it's like it definitely incentivizes going to do Mythic Plus, and then it's like, okay, interesting. Like the system that introduces heroic gear is now telling me to kind of skip the beginner, you know, the air quotes beginner, you know, parts of Mythic or dungeons, right? So yeah, it's kind of confusing. Like I feel like there should be some point where it's like, hey, you should try a heroic dungeon or a normal dungeon. We'll auto queue you right now.
Yep. Yeah. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, right? Like the thing that's gonna be scary for people isn't the auto queue into normal or heroic. It's the like, hey, I have to go sign up and have somebody either accept or decline me, right? That's a little scarier. By the way, you know, something I've observed, Chicken, is I've talked to players who only exclusively do like heroic dungeons. They don't go higher than heroic, and they enjoy heroic dungeons, but they see the toxicity in heroic dungeons, and they're like, dude, no way do I want to do anything harder than this, right?
Oof.
And you know what? I have a theory. I definitely encounter people in M Plus that are kind of a pain to deal with.
Kind of a pain. Like every once in a while, like most of my M Plus groups, by the way, like most of my M Plus groups are chill, dude. Especially with the new like relaxed note I put on all of them, right? Yeah.
Most of them are pretty chill. Like nobody's complaining. Like people are like vibing, right? Dude, I actually think people are meaner in heroic dungeons than M Plus.
Do you think it's because like people, like if people go in to learn in a heroic dungeon and it's someone that's just like slapsticking it just because they want to get like loot real fast,
yes, 100%.
And they just get like upset?
Yeah, I think people are meaner in normal and heroic dungeons than they are in M Plus dungeons.
That's probably fair.
And I think you're right, especially in normal, right? Especially in normal. I mean, I've been in plenty of normal dungeons where I see somebody getting flamed, right? And it's because you have too many people coming in with different goals, right? So you have the dude that comes in like, dude, I just want to take my time, have a good scenic experience, see the dungeon, see the content, right? You have the person who's sitting there like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to learn how to play this character. I've never even played a mage before. Like, how do I do a rotation, right? Yeah. Like, which spells should I use? Which should I not use? And then you also have
this button do?
Yeah, right. And then you have the dude who's walking in, who's like, this is like their 37th level 90 they're working towards.
Yeah, I'm just trying to gear. Right? I'm just trying to level. Yeah.
Right. And they're mad because the tank who's like playing the game for the first time in their life isn't pulling every mob up to the boss.
They're like pulling stuff. Yeah.
Right. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? Go faster, dude. Go faster. Kick. Can we slash kick this guy? Can we kick this guy out of the group? Right? Like, come on, go faster.
Dang.
Right? Or the opposite happens, right? You're the new player. You're trying to figure out what the heck is happening. And the tank is going so fast that he's not even waiting for you to get to the boss. So you're now locked out. Me. You're locked out of every boss fight, right? Because the tank's not going to let you in. Dude, normal and heroic dungeons are like just not a good experience. Like if you're listening and you're like, oh, dude, all I do is normal and heroic dungeons. I'm too afraid to touch M+. I'm telling you, Mythic, like just normal Mythic, not even like M+, just normal Mythic dungeons are so much more fun. And it's not because they're fun because they're difficult. It's fun because everybody who's going in at that point has the same goal as you, right? Especially like just normal like Mythic, just M0. We often call it Mythic M0. Right? No key modifier attached to it. Especially like M0 dungeons because everybody's in there like, oh yeah, we're just trying to learn this a little bit. Like people's vibes are much better, right? You go into a +2. The only people running a +2 are either people trying to, get their character a little better, learn how to do the dungeon, or helping their friend learn how to do the dungeon, right? Like, so everybody who's going in is like vibing. They're having a good time.
Yeah, that's definitely, dude, I've done that so many times. Yeah. Now you're making me feel bad.
Dude, I've done it,
just
right?
Like, I just need a level, so I'm just going to come in and pull everything. Right. And people, you're just going to have to deal with it.
Deal with it, right?
Wow. I sound like a jerk.
Right? And maybe the simple answer is like, dude, you just stop before the boss and make sure everybody shows up, right?
Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do.
But
which I do that. I don't just like run through. What a jerk someone like that would do.
To be fair though, I don't think dungeons should scale leveling. I think that causes too many problems. I think leveling dungeons are too easy, right? I think dungeons should feel like a challenge all the time. I don't think an answer for leveling should be spamming dungeons. So I have opinions on the topic. Again, I think all of those factors, while all those factors are convenient to players, I think that convenience creates a miserable first-time experience. And I think leveling should always be geared around creating the best first-time experience possible in World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Because
you shocked me.
Shocked, right? Well, yeah, because new players coming in need to love the game. They need to love the game. And right now, the leveling experience is catered towards the player who just wants to level their 10th alt, and they don't want to wait for time running to come back. And so they're trying to get their leveling as fast as humanly possible. And if that means they have to dissuade other players from ever playing the game again, they're going to do it because those players don't matter, right? They only they matter. They're the only one who matters in this world. Before we keep this topic going, back to that gearing.
Are you sure you want to keep this topic going?
I don't know. Before we move on to the next topic, back to the gearing conversation we're having. I feel like we've had the gearing conversation a lot, and so it's like beating a dead horse.
The same old song and
dance. It's like beating a dead horse, right? But when you record an hour and a half podcast every week, what can you do? But what I will say though, the last note I put in there, I think this week I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna try something. Chicken, you can try it too if you want. You don't have to. Maybe you already do. I don't know. But I made a comment about like maybe BIS chasing is the move, right? So this week I'm going to BIS chase. I'm going to look at what items, like what gear is best for my character, what stats are absolutely best for my character. I normally don't actually care that much, to be honest with you. I will if it's like convenient, like, oh, this dropped. Is this a better stat than what I have? But I traditionally don't chase it, right? I traditionally don't go, okay, I need to run this dungeon 10 times to get this one trinket or this one hand piece because it's my best hands, right? So I'm going to try that a little bit this week. I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm gearing, right? I'm going to keep it in mind. I'm going to like push my rolls towards that as well, right? My bonus rolls. And try BIS chase. And then next week on the podcast, I will share my feelings on it. I don't want to say results. It's more like a feelings opinion thing, right? Like, was it more fun to think of gearing in that regard? Did it make the gearing chase feel like it extends more out? Because right now I'm thinking eye level, right? So it's like, oh, wow, we're myth track already. But maybe the question isn't eye level. Maybe the question is just individual piece of gear. So I'm going to feel that out. I'll come back next week and let everybody know the results of my test.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do generally like look at that at some point, just not like at the point I am right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm definitely at some point I'm like, yeah, I want to make sure that I'm doing something that, but like I'm not to the point where it's like I'm gonna say like what they say in Wowhead. Like every piece of gear that they tell me I need to have in Wowhead, I'm gonna get. It's more like, as long as my stats are like kind of how they should be, then that's good enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be fair, right? Like maybe I like to think of myself as the average player. I think everybody does, right? I'm
pretty sure you are the average player.
Right. Like I listen to like the bench and they or the potty C, right? And they're talking as if like they're the average player. I talk as if I'm the average
player.
Yeah, when you're getting a 0.1% achievement, you're probably not average, right? But dude, I'm a 10s Andy, right? I'm running 10s and 12s right now. Just kind of doing average. To me, that feels average. I don't know though, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, what if there's more players not doing M+ than are doing M+ in World of Warcraft, right? In which case, that makes me very much not average, right? That makes me well above average. And so it's hard to say, I don't know. There's parts of me that are like, oh, maybe my experience feels like this because I am actually not in the place I thought I was in, right? And so I also want to be fair, right? If you're listening to the podcast and you're like, dude, actually gearing feels great. I got full champion. I'm working towards heroic. I'm getting heroic gear from Delves and stuff. And I'm running like maybe a +2 every week for Vault Hero or something. I don't know. Whatever that might be. Let me know in the comments because I'm curious to see where like the great span of people are, because it's easy just to always assume you're the normal experience because that's the only experience that you have, right? So anyways, just want to say that for listeners. But Chicken, dude, we have some news in WoW this week. And then we have a few listener questions, and we might have a few leftover hot takes from last week. So Chicken dude, what's been happening in WoW?
Well, we spent so much time with the same old song and dance, and we didn't even get to talk about the patch. The patch update, meaning 12.0.5, and just general thoughts on that. Obviously, I don't know if you've been following. It's not like super buggy. There's been a couple bugs with it. Nothing crazy.
Bro, it's so rough, dude. Oh my goodness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The bugs really that bad?
Everything. I think the problem is if it was like 1 or 2 bugs, it'd be like, oh, okay, a couple bugs, we'll get figured out, right? But everything in patch 12.0.5 was buggy.
Maybe I just came in too late. Like,
let's play a game. Tell me a feature of 12.0.5, and I'll tell you a bug.
Like currently.
Yeah, give me a feature. Give me a feature in 12.0.5, and I'll tell you bugs.
Was what's it called bugged? The corridor.
Yeah, there's areas where you can get outside of the map.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't really even count that as a bug.
That's pretty big, dude. People are literally just going outside the map and then winning every game.
Yeah, but like that's more like, to me, that's just like loopholes. Like I don't consider those like
but even
huge
still, right?
bugs.
But again, if that was it, that'd be fine, right? That it'd be like, okay, we get that one bug, right? But then you also have the void sphere thing, right? The
void
bonus
storm,
the bonus rerolls, right? You have the bonus rerolls, and those were bugged out.
What happened with those?
Yeah, so the bonus rerolls ended up not like, basically the way Blizzard explained it is that their internal testing uses one database, right? And so in their internal testing, it all worked, but on the live servers, they have to use like multiple databases to cover everything. And so once it went to live, it actually like was bugging out where it could give you the same item multiple times over and over.
Interesting.
And so they ended up fixing that bug, but it took them like a couple days. But they ended up fixing that bug, and then they refunded everybody who spent their rerolls. But they didn't remove the items that they won. Right? Oh. So like theoretically, Chicken, you could have gotten 5 pieces of mythic loot this week if you had wanted to.
Well, I'm not like
right. And so like
I'm
I
not one
didn't
to
roll
say
because I heard about the bug, right? I was working all day, and so people were like, "Oh, it's bugged
yeah.
out. Don't use your rerolls." And everybody's like, "Don't use your rerolls," right? And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Hey, we're giving them back to people. Here you go." So now my friends who used their rolls already and got their loot, they have 2 more rolls they can use this week, and so that's kind of
I mean,
a bummer.
It is what it is.
It is
like
what
that
it is,
stuff.
right? Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's no win for Blizzard in that, right? There's no win for Blizzard in that.
No.
Yeah.
So like it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like
Yeah.
that to me is like like I don't want to be jealous of someone because they exploited something when I was at work. Like it's like like it's unfortunate, but it happens, right?
Yeah. And then there was I had posted a picture of it somewhere. I don't even remember where I posted it, whether it's in the guild Discord or the Warband Discord. I posted a photo somewhere, sometime, of like an item text, right? There was some like rough grammatical spelling, I think mostly grammatical though, errors in this patch even, where like you're reading something.
Really?
Like, yeah, and you're just like, this doesn't even make sense.
Interesting.
I'm like trying to read it, and I'm just like, what?
You're like,
yeah. I'm using the Discord search. I'm using the Discord search right now to try and hunt it down.
Language?
No.
Interesting.
It was English. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Didn't make sense.
Yeah.
AI.
So, no, not AI.
I mean, we don't know. It could have been AI.
It could have. I mean, yeah. Honestly, who knows, right? I think Blizzard
AI,
though has
the hardest
that
thing AI does is spelling. That's literally the hardest thing AI.
Which is funny because Google Docs is so good at telling me when I've spelled things wrong.
Yeah, I know. AI struggles with grammar. That's the biggest thing it struggles with.
Interesting.
It is weird, but this is an AI podcast. Yeah, I guess maybe I just came in too late to realize that there was any bugs with anything. Like when I started doing stuff, there was no bugs. But then even yesterday, like they pulled down the Void Assault because there was like a new issue. Like they disabled them. So I don't know if that was because of people sitting like AFK and like getting the rewards or what the issue was. I'm sure it was because people were literally you could just sit AFK in the because it's in the same area in what's it called oh my goodness, the Zulaman area. You could just sit AFK in there and just get the loot because the encounter was in the same area every time. So I guess people were just sitting there AFK and just getting the loot. So I'm assuming that's what they took it down to patch. That way people couldn't just like exploit just being AFK all the time and getting like a bunch of gold and stuff.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Definitely has their fair share of bugs. But
dude, even like housing, bro. Housing was disabled day one. Right, housing.
Wait, I did hear that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and somebody told me that it was because they were fixing something else, so they had. But I'm like, but even still, the fact that it had to be disabled to fix something, I don't know. It's just, and I know people have been like all over Blizzard's case for it. And by the way, at the end of the day, right now everything's fine. Everything. Oh, there were balancing bugs too. They went to do something on like Unholy DK and like put a bug out in that.
Have AI do this patch,
bro.
Maybe they're like, let's just see if AI can do a patch for us. Then we can fire a bunch of people.
Dude, honestly, well, actually, okay. Okay. So, I think a big part of it is that it just was too quick, right? Like this was 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It's only been 6 weeks and we're already on the 0.5 patch, right? Like
but it's always like that.
No,
quick.
It's not. No, this is abnormal. This is a very fast cadence. Like this cadence for WoW's team is not normal. If they had given themselves,
determined that it was.
No. Blizzard's moving very fast now. I mean, maybe a little bit in the War Within they were, but pre that.
Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest.
This is new. This is new territory.
I just can't.
right?
Just don't remember.
And now we're in a place where we're not just like one fast patch in, we're like multiple fast patches in, right? Plus they've been trying to fix all the issues with like all the add-on stuff, right? So they're constantly trying to tackle that and fix that. It feels like they're starting to get a little behind on their own ability, right? Like they're now struggling to catch back up to themselves.
Sure.
And that's where it's getting difficult. Now, if I wanted to go into conspirator territory, if I wanted to come up with a wild conspiracy, I don't think I would like it if it happened. I wouldn't be shocked, but also I don't think it's going to happen. But conspiracy territory, what if like Blizzard puts out like a couple patches like this where like they're trying to get things out fast, but it's just like buggy, and they just go, guys, this is what happens when we don't use AI. Like we really need AI to speed up this process. We need AI to make this faster. All right, and all of a sudden that's their justification. They're just like, see, there's just too much to do, but we need to get it out for the players. It's for the players. We have to use AI for the players.
Interesting.
So conspiracy.
Yeah. I don't want to get like speculative, and I don't know if people care if we talk about AI. I think they want to hear what we actually think about 12.5.
I do think though that they should have given it like 2 more weeks.
Honestly,
I think 2 weeks.
I feel like I can agree with that, but it is what it is, right?
Right. 2 weeks would have been 2 months into the expansion. So we're saying, or into the season, right? So we're saying, hey, the season happens 2 months into that season. We're getting a bunch of new content. We're getting these bonus rolls. We're getting all this stuff. That feels good. I think they were trying to give us because the bonus rolls are like the turbo boost type thing now. And so I think they're trying to give us that sooner rather than later. So it didn't feel like an end season like benefit. But I think 2 more weeks would have been safe. And 2 more weeks probably would have given them the time they needed to actually like test this on servers and make sure things actually like worked out the way that they were supposed to work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It just feels like they were either understaffed on this project or that they didn't have enough time, maybe a little bit of both. But everything that came out, like I think they tried to buff Unholy DK and ended up nerfing Unholy DK instead by accident.
Interesting.
Unholy DKs have been like raging all week. Everything that they tried to do, just everything had a bug in it, and that I think is what's kind of weird, where it's like, okay, not everything can be broken all the time, right? Like something has to work. Like you just put a patch out, and so if it was like one of these issues, if there's like one of these issues, I would have been like, whatever, who cares? That's not that big of a deal. Stop overhyping that. Stop making that out to be more than it actually is. But when it's like everything, that just feels... Okay, I found it. I had this screenshot saved on my phone. Sorry, I was trying to find it on my phone. All right. So here's an item, right? Ritual magic regeneration orbs. And the text says, the first thing you need to know when investigating a ritual site is that with so much magic in the air that while in combat, regeneration orbs will manifest, healing you for 15% of your health. It's like mid-sentence it like changes, right? Now, there should be some sort of transition piece in there somewhere from the first thing you need to know that with so much magic in the air, right? That with so much magic in the air, you get blank so that while in combat, right? Like there should be something there, but it doesn't. It just kind of like jumps, right? That's not stuff we normally see in WoW. That's not stuff that's like a normal occurrence. Like, oh yeah, that we always have some random like grammar mistakes here and there. And on its own, dude, that would not have been enough for me to ever even bring up on the podcast, right? On its own, I would have never mentioned that. But combining that with housing being closed on Tuesday because they had to fix something, with the core duels having easily accessible out of bounds areas that you can go and hide and win every time, having people AFK to get rewards in certain areas, having the orbs or having the bonus rerolls not work, and so now some players are getting extra mythic loot as a reward for that. Having class balancing come out and then not even work the way it's supposed to work. It right, like once, like if it was one or two of those things, you'd be like, oh, that's a little quirky, but they'll get it fixed. But it just felt like everything. it felt like everything was busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they came out and announced that subscription costs were going up too. So that didn't make people happy that they announced that during a buggy.
Wait, really?
Well, sort of. Yes, but no. Yes, but no. I'm gonna upset people when I say this, but I think a lot of people are more upset with it than, I don't know. I think people are more upset with it than is justifiable. So Blizzard announced subscription cost increases for other countries, not for the U.S. And they do this occasionally. The idea is that they always keep the subscription cost at the $15 mark, but currency fluctuates, and so what that $15 is for another country will be different. And generally, most other countries still pay, I mean, technically less than what we pay value-wise. So it's hard for me to like, I mean, again, people are going to be listening and be like, dude, Swag, that's so cold and callous. Part of it's hard for me to care when I still know technically I'm paying more, right? So it's like when I know that I'm paying more than someone else's, but they're upset because their sub cost went up and now it's equivalent to $10, right? Rather than 15. I don't know. All that to say though, even still, probably wasn't the best timing for them to announce that right at the launch of a really buggy patch. But those are two different teams at Blizzard, I would imagine. And so they probably aren't even thinking about it. They probably have it on their calendar, like, we have to announce this on this day. And then the patch launch team was like, we have to announce this on this day. And in theory, it was supposed to be a really awesome patch, right? You get all this cool, like, you're getting decor duels, which is awesome. You're getting a bunch of new decor items coming out. You're getting these bonus rerolls, right? Like, it was supposed to be a really awesome patch. And to Blizzard's credit, I think it's going to be overall an awesome patch. It was just a really, really rough few days.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we spent the last 20 minutes talking about how rough the patch was.
That's true.
Didn't even talk about the content of it.
No, didn't talk about content. Dude, did you play?
What do you think of the patch overall? Outside of the bugs, outside of everything, I mean, let's talk about the actual patch, right? I mean, like, we did literally just talk about all the bugs for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So,
I generally thought it was fun. I mean, as I said, I've been doing decor duels most of the time, which has been really fun. My wife and I enjoy it. I don't think it's a great prop hunt game, but it's okay. It's all right. I think it needs a lot of work. It feels like it leans really, really heavily on the side of the hunters rather than the hiders, right? If we're gonna talk about in terms of like hide and seek. So for those who are listening,
totally agree.
Those who are listening who have not played prop hunt elsewhere, I think prop hunt originated with Gary's mod, if I recall correctly. Mm-hmm. But so many games have versions. I think I've seen prop hunt in like Call of Duty. You and I used to play prop hunt with our viewers back when we did Fortnite content back in the day.
Definitely been in Fortnite.
Right. I would say Gary's mod's still probably the best one, but whatever. But one of the general elements of a good prop hunt is that the hunter, the seeker, right? If we're going to talk in hide and seek terms, the seeker needs to have some sort of limitation, right? So like, if you shoot the prop and it's not a person hiding, right? You need to take some sort of damage, right? Like you can only be wrong so many times, right? And so it kind of naturally balances out where like it feels like this even game, right? Like it's just as hard to be a seeker and it's just as hard to be a hider, right? But in WoW's prop hunt, it feels extremely seeker leaning, right? So you have a few things happening. You have the whistle, which is pretty standard in prop hunt, so that's normal, right? Yeah. The whistle is kind of how you alert, but it almost felt like the Blizzard devs couldn't quite get the whistle right? Like they couldn't quite get it to work the way they wanted to and be as alerting as they want to. So then they also added in the flies, right? So the flies will hang out with you if you hang in the same spot for too long. And I think how far away you move from that spot impacts the flies too, because like I've moved like a few feet and the flies just pop right back over to me. So you have to move pretty far away. I think your flies physically move around the map and like try to get to you. I don't think it's just like a little animation of your head. I'm not 100% sure on that though, but it seems to be that way. So you have the whistle, you have the flies, and then at the 25-second mark, an arrow is put over the head of all the props, right? So now they have 25 seconds, which maybe should have been like 15 seconds, right? 25 is a long time. And then to top it all off, the hunter abilities are all really, really, really strong. They're like really strong abilities. And so you just pick one of them. Usually I get the one where you shoot out the orb or whatever. And I'm just like spamming that. I'm just hitting everything with it, right? You just run around and spam it everywhere and then tag the item when you find it. And I think the game rewards you, by the way. The game rewards you not for hiding well. I think if you win a hiding round, I don't think you actually get anything for winning that, like in terms of reward at the end. I think you only get rewards for how many you find. I think finding is the more important tool.
Well, that's dumb.
I could be wrong, but I know I've won a hiding round and then not gotten anything at the end. So I don't know.
Really?
I don't
think I've won any rounds. I'm pretty bad.
Oh, I was pretty good at hiding. The problem with hiding though is like once people understand all the good hiding spots, they'll be gone, right? So like,
oh yeah,
one thing, yeah,
hard.
For a while, I would pick a really small prop, and then I would actually run into the room that all the seekers are waiting in when they have to wait before they can start, and just pray that they don't see me run into the room. And I hide against the inner wall, right? Like basically they're standing above me, right? And I hide there. So when it starts, they all run out real quick. As soon as they run out, I then go to the far back of that room and hide around the corner. And usually that works. They've started to realize people will hide in there sometimes. So I had this round where I was hiding back there. I'm doing really well. Someone else ends up coming back there, right? And they're hiding back there too. And I'm a little annoyed because it was my spot. And now they came back like mid-game and hid with me. But whatever.
Yeah, like what jerks.
Whatever, right? Somebody, a seeker runs into that back room. I'm along the wall by the door, right? So seeker runs through the door. As soon as they run through the door, and I know I'm kind of out of their range a little bit, I quickly scoot around the door. So I'm now on the other side of the wall so they can't see me, right, while they're in that room.
Yeah.
And my plan then is just scoot back in when they run back out, right? So he runs in. He's like looking. He's looking. He like goes to run out. And when he runs back out of the room, I scoot back in. But as he's running out of the room, he like tags the other prop, the other guy who's hiding with me, right?
Yeah.
He tags him. So now that guy's got the big arrow on his head. That guy should clearly know where I am, right? Like, unless he's dumb, right? But he should know where I am at this point. Like I'm aware of where the other prop is, or he should be where I am. He then goes and stands right on top of me.
Oh.
Like clipping into me, right? Like clipping into me.
He's like, well, if I go down, you're going down with me.
Right? And so now I have a giant arrow over my head because it's his arrow, right? And I'm just like, what the heck? So then, of course, a hunter just runs in and slaps both of us. And I'm like, you're stupid. You're dumb. So I hated it. I didn't like that round. I was very upset. I was very upset because another prop got me out. Or like another example of seekers being too strong. There's like this little jump puzzle game. I don't know if you've noticed it. There's these like tree pots that you can jump on to climb up into this like cool, it's not hidden, but it's like this floating platform, right? And so one round I like jumped up there. I was like, oh, I'll come hide here. We'll see. I haven't really seen too many hunters successfully do the jump puzzle. This will be good. So I go up there, and as soon as I go up there, that's when I find out that hunters can buy the ability to like do some crazy void leap thing. And so I hide up there, and I watch this hunter just completely bypass the puzzle by leaping all the way to the first platform, and then leaping all the way up and crashing on me. And I get out, and I'm like, what the heck? I don't know. It feels like it's not, I don't know. It feels like they made it way too easy for hunters and too hard for hiders.
Sure. No, I agree. I feel like it's definitely geared more towards the people that are seeking.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I haven't really messed with the bonus rolls too much, if I'm honest. So I was probably going to do that.
The bonus rolls?
Yeah. I haven't done that. So I'll probably mess with that today. Maybe run some 10s for gear that I want and use my bonus rolls. But that seems cool. I like that. We did see the Dragonflight raid nerfs, but I haven't. I just haven't gone back to them. But if there's stuff you wanted from old Dragonflight raids, they are now soloable, so that's nice.
Yeah. Which is nice, but that's not really your content, your cup of tea, then that's okay.
No, I do that usually late season. Our guild will organize like old runs through stuff. Sometimes I'll do that, but I guess those will probably be War Within runs that we organize, and usually we start doing that like season 2 when like that becomes a bit more manageable.
Yeah.
But otherwise, no. Yeah. I mean, the patch is good. Like I think all the stuff in the patch is good. It's just it was a little buggy, but I haven't had a chance to interact with all of it yet.
Yeah. Did you see any of the Keystone myth mounts? Like the new ones?
How about the 3400, right? Yeah, I like the recolored Shadowlands mount. That one I might go for.
Yeah.
I do like
I like the
Shadowlands
recolored mounts. War Within Season 1. The amethyst like
that one was nice too, yeah.
Bro, but let me tell you something. Dude, they recolored that stupid like shredder tank like 10 times. And I think it looks awful.
Dude, why did they pick the most undesirable mount to recolor the most?
I have no idea.
I mean, honestly, it was probably the easiest one. To be honest, it was probably the easiest one to recolor, right? Because you're just slapping like paint colors on it, basically.
Yeah.
They probably literally just went in and just did like a hue overlay type thing in Photoshop and called it a day, which is fine. The other mounts I think are probably harder to get right because they have to have a certain like feel look to them, right? Whereas the shredder just has to look like it's painted, which is a lot easier to do. But even still, nobody wants that mount, dude. Nobody wants that mount. So
yeah,
I think I think they
see.
should give us the Shadowlands mount again. Like so, next season, recolor the Shadowlands mount that actually makes it look like spaghetti noodles.
Oh, that would be kind of dope. Actually,
that'd be sick, bro. With like some pasta sauce on top.
Oh my gosh!
Some meatballs on there.
Stop!
Right?
Just
come on,
stop.
give me please, Blizzard, just give me a spaghetti mount with some
That
meatballs.
would be silly a little bit. That'd be a little silly.
I know. That's why I want it, bro. That's why I want it. All right. With that said, though, we have some listener questions. But before we get into our listener questions, a few quick notes for the podcast. I want to give a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are incredible. The absolute best. You keep us on air. You make sure that this podcast goes live every single week. If you are listening to the podcast right now, that's because the Patreon supporters have supported this podcast, and we could not be more thankful. Yeah. If you want to help support the Warband podcast, there is a link down below in the description. Please check it out. That does wonders for us. We also want to invite you to be a part of our neighborhood. The Warband has their own neighborhood. It is a Horde side neighborhood for those who are interested, but you can join by popping into our Discord, link down in the description, and going to the Join Neighborhood channel, opening up a ticket, and letting us know that you want to join the neighborhood. We'll get you in there. It's really cool. We do need some help with endeavors. We're a little behind right now. So if you can come in and get our endeavors done, please do. Especially if you're already living in the neighborhood, do the endeavors, please. Lastly, Chick and I bring it up all the time. We love talking about it. We want to invite you into our guild. It's not a guild for the Warband, but it is our personal guild that we just enjoy being a part of. That's our home. That's our space. And oftentimes content creators don't like inviting people into their personal space, right? Like you kind of like to have some separation between the creator and the consumer. But we really believe that this guild is incredible. Astra is the most wonderful guild in WoW, and it would be too gatekeeping to keep you out of it. And so if you're looking for a guild that's not toxic, that's full of encouraging players, that offers opportunities to try out content that maybe you're too nervous to do, or even just find a place to do content with friends. Our guild teaches raid every week at our academy raid nights. We form teams to run M+ every Sunday afternoon. We call it our Mythic Keys event, and we group up ahead of time, and it's really fun. And we run all key levels up to probably like 12s, maybe not higher than 12s. But it really is an amazing, amazing guild. If you're looking for a place to call home, just some friends to hang out and chat with socially, there's no better place. You can join Astra by, again, jumping into the Warband Discord and going to the Join Astra channel. Open a ticket and let us know in that ticket if you just want more information or if you'd like an invite to the guild. We do it that way just because we're always a little nervous about just having a open link straight into the guild Discord. That might be a bit rude. So with that said, though, that's everything we want you to know. And now it's time for some of our listener questions that we have.
Oh, sorry.
All right, Chicken. What kind of questions do our listeners have this week?
Good ones.
Good. I was worried, man. Like, I don't know if you remember 8 weeks ago, dude. There's some weird questions.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't remember that.
Yeah, dude.
So
like Tiger is always asking us which character's feet are the best in WoW. That one's a weird one. Right? Rack asked us, I think it was a while back. Maybe it was on episode 74, maybe. Rack was asking us if we had to pick anywhere in WoW to have our toes ripped off, where would we pick? That was another weird one.
Okay, now you're just being weird, dog.
Yeah, those were some weird questions. So luckily this week I think aren't as weird. But Chicken, what questions we got?
Gosh. Yeah, so we got a couple questions. The first one is from Sovi, and they have been asking us where we think we would want to live in WoW, and I think it started in the Eastern Kingdoms, and then it went to Kaldor, and now they're asking which Burning Crusade Outland zone would you like to live in?
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you go first because I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, honestly, this one's a freebie. This one's such a freebie. And I'll walk Chicken through because Chicken never really played the Burning Crusade, and I don't think he's ever really gone to Outlands to do anything ever.
I don't think I
right?
have. Actually, that's not true.
Yeah. So
I've gone there for like something stupid that I don't even want to talk about.
So Outlands, I'll kind of give you a breakdown of Outlands. You have like Hellfire Peninsula, which is like absolutely a desolate, like nothing will ever grow in Hellfire Peninsula. You don't want to live there. You have Shadow Moon Valley, which is all like fell, destroyed, corrupted. You don't want to live there. You have Netherstorm, right? Which is basically like Voidstorm, right? The current zone, except now it's Nether.
Okay.
So it's Nether Zone, Nether Storm.
Yeah.
That one generally you would not want to live in. The exception being that does have Area 52. That's where Area 52 is located. You also have the Ecodome. So you remember the Ecodomes from Koresh?
Oh, yeah.
So those were based off the Ecodomes in Netherstorm, right? You have a bunch of ethereals there. So that's a possible. You have the, like, I think, what is it? The Razor something mountains. I'm like looking up Outland zones because it's been so long since I've like last actually looked at Outlands. Of course, it doesn't actually pull up the map for me. I clicked the map and it didn't. Open image in new tab. There we go. That's how something. Blades Edge Mountains. Sorry, Blades Edge Mountains. And then you also have the Terrakar Forest, which is fine. Terrakar Forest is fine, but it's like a dark, gloomy kind of forest. Really, the two places I think that are up for contention are Nagrand and Zangamarsh, right? So Nagrand is this like beautiful green, lush landscape with like floating islands that are like have like cool waterfalls coming down. It's really beautiful. Like Nagrand actually is one of the most beautiful zones in the game in general. And then Zangamarsh is like really cool. Like I know some people who love Zangamarsh. Think it's like a super like marshy, not quite swampy though. It's like blue and ethereal kind of feeling. And you have these like giant mushrooms everywhere that kind of like
that's kind of
give a lot of shade. It's really cool. Zangamarsh is cool, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Nagrand, dude. Nagrand was a banger of a zone. With that said, I'll just get ahead of the game. And Sophie, I'll let you know for Northrend, it's Grizzly Hills. It will always be Grizzly Hills. Grizzly Hills is one of my favorite zones in the entire game. So just letting you know for next time.
He's like, I'm just gonna
Grizzly Hills.
Answer the next question.
I will listen to the Grizzly Hills music just for fun sometimes. I love Grizzly Hills. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm really excited for Grizzly Hills to come back in the next expansion.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of these days I'm just gonna like go and just like fly around.
Yeah.
Look for places that look cool. Dude, one of the pinnacles of player housing was I thought you'd just be able to build a house anywhere, or like I think evolution, like if evolution kind of goes into player housing and they kind of like transform it, I think there should be like certain places in each like island or zone that you can build like a player house. I don't know. We'll see.
I
Maybe
think they do plan to expand neighborhoods eventually, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Anyways, yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't really know any of these places, but that mushroom place kind of sounded kind of cool. So,
Oh, dude, Zangarmarsh is sick, dude.
mushroom
Zangarmarsh is a
place
very
for
sick
me.
place. So that's our first question. What we got next, Chicken? What's up next on the docket?
Yeah, the next question is from Filthy Heathen. He says, here's a pod question. Do you gear to do content, or do you do content to get gear? There's an absolute difference, and it makes it changes someone's expectations.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, that's back to what we talked about for a while earlier, right? Like, what is that we're doing? I think it's a mix of both. I think for me, it's absolutely both, right? So like,
Yeah.
we were talking about raid, right? Heroic raid. Dude, I am not heroic raiding right now for gear. By the time we went into heroic raid, I think I had one slot on my character that didn't have hero gear on it. I'm just doing because I like doing it with my guild, and it's fun hanging with my friends, and getting the achievement is nice, right? So getting the AOTC achievement's always fun. It's a fun little challenge. With that said, though, right, like I really think across the board for me, it's a both type of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I really enjoy doing M+ dungeons, but I also really enjoy gearing my character. So the goal is I'm trying to do the content, but I also want my character to get gear and get stronger. And then I also want to then take that gear, now I'm stronger, into like harder content. And you might think, oh, well, that just means that you like the content and the gear is just helping you get into the content more. And partially that's true, but also partially I just really like gearing, right? Like there are plenty of times where I'm only doing content. Like there are times where I'm like really not in the mood to do M+, but I'm like, dude, I need to knock out a bunch of these so I can get something good in the vault, right? For me, it's both, right? Like if I didn't enjoy the content, I wouldn't do it, right? That's my general, like if I don't enjoy it, I won't do it. But a lot of what drives me to do it is that I want to make my character stronger. So it's kind of this like both type thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm definitely the same. I think this season has been a little interesting because I haven't been doing a lot of M+ just because timing wise it just hasn't worked out for me very well. And yeah, I think there's just like a disconnect between me and Mythic Plus this season. So I've been doing a lot of just like world-based content, delve, stuff like that. I've still been doing a little bit of Mythic Plus, just not as much as I normally would do.
Yeah.
So I think I'm definitely doing like 90% of the content just to do the content and not for like the gear. And then I'll throw in like maybe a couple tier 11 delves just to see if I can get like a bounty map just to get maybe a piece of heroic gear. But yeah, I'd say most of the content I do is just for the content, not for the gear. Right now, at least. Hopefully, I'll get into Mythic Plus at some point. We'll see.
All right, we've got a couple hot takes that didn't make it into last week's episode. We're not going to get to all of them, but we figured we'd hit... Oh, wait, no. We missed a question, didn't we? We did miss a question. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I went ahead on the notes. We'll get to hot takes in a second. Question from Lil Nog. He says, I've been enjoying Midnight and Silver Moon. By the way, did we say that the last question was from Filthy Heathen? I think you did. I don't remember.
I'm sorry?
I don't remember if we... I was like giving credit to the question who asked it.
Oh, yeah. I said... Yeah.
Oh, perfect. All right. Lil Nog asked, I've been enjoying Midnight and Silver Moon, but with the main city being in Eversong Woods, when I log in with limited time, I usually just stay in Eversong Woods for the fastest prey/world quest/bountiful delves. I did the same in Isle of Dorn with Dornigal. Do you think the main city should be in a more neutral zone, kind of like Oribos was, or something more like Dalaran in the center of Northrend? That's an interesting question. Ultimately, you have created your own problem. I mean, right? Like, you know, you've created your own problem. I would also say it really doesn't take any longer to get to, especially compared to Dornigal, right? Dornigal, it was kind of a pain to get done. Like Hallowfall was a pain.
Dornigal was rough,
right? Hallowfall is a pain. You use Dalaran as an example, right? But like in the example you're giving, you would have just stayed in like the Crystal Song Woods, right? In Northrend, right? Like you would have never gone all the way over to like Borean Tundra or like Grizzly Hills or something, right? Like you would have just stayed wherever is closest, right? So that example doesn't really work. I would actually say Silvermoon is probably the absolute best city right now in terms of getting to every zone as quick as possible. The only exception is Zulaman. Zulaman's kind of a pain to get to, but you have portals into Voidstorm and a portal to Harndar right within Silvermoon.
Yeah.
So the irony is, while it feels like you keep going to one spot, you actually have more ability right now to go to almost any zone, possibly quicker than you could get to Eversong. So yeah, I think ultimately, right, like if you want to go to these other zones, I don't think the answer is that Blizzard has to force you to do it. I think if you want to do it, just do it. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I don't personally feel that weight for me. Like I just don't feel that weight, because if I am doing world quests, I'm doing it for certain loot, not just for like the quest itself. So that the loot will determine where I'm going for a world quest. Usually like if I'm working on like an alt or something. I will admit, though, for delves, I do tend to go to the delve that's like right there in Silvermoon if I have to do one. But also that delve is a banger. The Collegiate Calamity or whatever?
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah, dude, that delve's a banger, and it's like right there in Silvermoon. So that was epic. I love that. Blizzard, do that again. But otherwise, like, to me, I mean, I don't know. I just use my dungeon portals to get around now. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree.
Right. But Chicken, what do you think? Do you think I do think Dornigal was worse though, because you had to fly all the way down.
Dornigal was so much worse.
But I would argue Dalaran and Northrend was even worse than Dornigal, right? Because it took way longer to get to the zones that you want to get to. So that one was for sure worse. But Chicken, dude, your overall thought, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me it is kind of weird. I don't think it's like necessarily terrible, but I do kind of get the sense of like there is kind of a little bit of a disconnect. It's just, to me, I just don't capture it as much, I guess. Like, it isn't too bad to get to the Voidstorm and the other area, the Harrenir zone. It's just, I feel like I forget about them. Like, I forget they even exist most of the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go to Eversong Woods or something.
If anything, I will say that I'm not always the biggest fan of, like, these separated zones. That's not always my favorite, right? I will say that. I don't... Occasionally, it's like, okay, yeah, that has to exist. But I don't know if we needed two of them this season, right? Like, I don't know if Harndar needed to be a zone. I actually would have been way more impressed if they had a way to make like Eastern Plaguelands, right? Like, rather than go to Harndar, we went further south, and like it was actually like this reclamation of Eastern Plaguelands, and maybe like different factions, and maybe that was like a more faction based zone, right? Where like the Alliance were trying to kind of clear out some area, and the undead are trying to clear out like another area, right? And like settle in for both of them. That could have been maybe a cooler story. Honestly, probably would have been a cooler story. But also, you know, again, a zone that you're not. Now, granted, the problem would be it actually take longer to get there than it would to get to Harndar, but whatever. Yeah, but I think that answers that question. And then we're going to speed run some of these hot takes. So some of these could be really great long conversations. We're not going to drag them out. We're not going to make them super long conversations, but we're just going to go with it. My hot take: the lore for this expansion is great, especially compared to the War Within, which seemed all over the place, and the delves are great also. They blend in well with the lore, and the stories are fun to play. I think the delves this season, I agree with you, by the way. I think the delves this season are much more in line with the stories that Blizzard is trying to tell, which is good. I think delves should be a storytelling tool for Blizzard. I don't think that they're using them nearly to their potential in that regard. Dungeons have historically been a good storytelling tool, and I think delves have even more, like a lot more potential to be a good storytelling tool. As far as like the lore of the expansion, I think it's better than the War Within. But I do think that there's some things that they've been taking really since Dragonflight into the War Within, and now we're seeing it now that just kind of, I don't know, man. Sometimes we lose the epic Dungeons and Dragons-y feel of WoW at times, and some of it feels that way. And so while I think it's a step up from Midnight or from the War Within, I think we have more room to go. Right, again, back to that, like, should we have gone to Harndar or should we have gone to Eastern Plaguelands? Right, kind of question, right? But yeah, I think it was good. Chicken, any thoughts on that hot take?
Yeah. Again, not the lore guy. Don't judge me. I'm not a lore guy.
All right. We had somebody send in a bunch of hot takes. So I'm just going to get to two of them. I'm just going to do two of their hot takes. The first one is Blizzard is... Or actually, let's do a PvP one. PvP has been ignored far too long. Tossing a poorly designed battleground every other expansion doesn't make up for the fact that participation is at an all-time low for competitive PvP. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, yeah, Blizzard does ignore PvP, but also players ignore PvP, right? And I feel like that's hard. I feel like for a long time, PvP players really want more participation in PvP. They also really want more participation of players that they can annihilate in PvP, right? Like,
yeah,
it's you want more bad players to join in so you can kind of take them out more easily. But that's a tough one, right? Like, I just don't know. I've never heard anybody give me a compelling argument for what Blizzard could do, just that Blizzard hasn't done, right? So it's like, oh, Blizzard won't take care of PvPers. But I don't even know what PvPers want. And I'm not sure if what PvPers want would even get new players, right? Because the question is, how do you get new people into PvP? And I just don't know the answer to that, right? I mean, yeah.
It's like one of those, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of systems.
Yeah. The problem is it feels broken, but how do you fix it, right?
PvP, to me, is just one of those things where you kind of just have to have, like, I don't want to say a sense for it or like a feel for it, but it almost just has to be like natural. Like, oh, I'm going to try PvP, and like, you just like it, right? Yeah. It's not like, oh, I'm going to try PvP. Oh, but I think they should do this and then I would like it. I think it's, you just like PvP or you don't. Like, I don't think they could do anything crazy to it that's going to be like, oh yeah, like I'm going to love PvP now. Like, I think it's just
either you do or you don't like PvP, right? Like, and that's ultimately what it is. You either do or you don't. And I would say, yeah, the majority of the WoW player base just does not care, and never would. Like, no matter what Blizzard did for PvP, the vast majority of the WoW player base would never care. I can't fathom anything Blizzard would do that would make like a Z, right? We had Z on the podcast a while ago. Make a Z go, yeah, I'll do PvP. Like, just never. There'll never be a time he's like, oh, I want to do that, unless it's like comp stomp and he's just trying to farm something real fast. And you could put big rewards in there and whatnot, but that always gets tough. Also, a lot of PvP rewards are based off of like a they're based off like a certain like rating in PvP, but PvP rating is also based off the skill of the players, right? So the better players are at PvP, the harder those ratings are to achieve, right? Right, those ratings become a lot easier the worse the average PvP player is. So that makes it really hard because it feels like a moving goalpost at that point. Because it's like, oh, I have to get up here. Oh, I lost one because I went against like a really good group and now I'm further away. So like even like when they have cool mounts and stuff, and I think a lot of people would like those mounts. But in order to get them, it's not like, oh, hey, run 300. Right? It's not like Dungeons where you can have like these goalposts that you're like, okay, I know if I can get the 3,400 it'll happen. I might have to hit my head against the wall a bunch of times, but I can do it, right? With PvP, it feels a little different that where you actually have to like be on a roll, right? You can't be like, oh,
Yeah,
I won 8, but then I lost 20, but now I won another 5 and I'm good. It's like, no, you have to be on a roll.
Sure.
And that makes
Yeah,
it
I
hard.
agree.
So maybe if there was something, it would be kind of resetting that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Last hot take that we'll do. They said Discord basically killed guild chat, and I'll hate that forever. It just sounds like your guild sucks. All right, well, that's the Warband podcast. Thank you so much for listening in. Should I elaborate on that further? I don't know, dude. My /G chat is popping all the time, and our guild Discord's popping all the time. So I just
don't pay attention either, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, I think /G was always a crappy chat system, right? Like it's a moving chat, right? And so Discord is offering you so much more flexibility and versatility. The ability to access guild chat outside of game.
Outside of game, yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Right, like
imagine.
I think when you try to think of it as like a versus thing, like, oh, I hate that it's now all our conversations happen in Discord. I think that's a crappy argument, because you're really not saying, hey, I want to have a relationship or community with my guild. You're saying, hey, I really want them to communicate through this one channel so I can be aware of what's happening, right? That's what you're saying. You're saying I'm going to limit myself and everyone else should have to follow me. But the reality is like the Discord guild chat is awesome. Also, I feel bad because all these hot takes, I'm always like so mean to everybody. But that's the fun of a hot take, right? The fun of the hot take is that you get to give a hot response back to a hot take.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but honestly though, too, back to what I originally said, there is a chance if your guild chat is just dead, that might not. I mean, that's not the experience that I have in guild chat, right? Like our guild chat is very active, so take that for what you will. And everyone's been so good recording another episode of the Warband with all of you. This is our final episode of the Warband. Until next week when we record another episode of the Warband. So it's been great, and thank you for listening.
Gosh, what the heck?